right, what I want to talk about in this video is making smart moves in your life. You got to make the right choices each and every day, or you're going to have to pay the consequences for not doing so. That's just the way life works. But you got to make smart moves whenever you make a move. For example, when we had all that BS of flu that came through around the world, all the lockdowns and stuff like that, which I myself, I didn't stay in. I didn't stop living. I kept going out as I normally do, go shopping, same places I always do. Not going to wear a mask. Not going to be forced to wear one. I'm the one that has to make choices for my own self, my health. I am responsible for what things I use that I feel necessary, regardless if the world, as you see back here, that's just falling all apart because of all the BS that's going on. I handle my own the way I see fit. You have to make choices for yourself because you're the only one that's responsible for yourself. You have to make your own choices, whether they're right or wrong. But you have to make the choices that fits your life the best. And the best for me was not to join in on all that BS that was going on. And that's what I chose. And I had no problems. I'm glad I chose not to join in on all that BS. And another example is all the ones that followed all the guidelines that they put out. You can't go out. You can't go to work. Got to be locked down in your house. We'll pay you to stay home. Well, all them people had a choice. Not only if they're going to stay in or not. It's the ones that got paid to stay home. The stimulus checks is what I'm referring to. They had a choice. If you need, let's say, $2,000 a month while you're working to be able to safely, comfortably, financially take care of all your responsibilities of the house payment, the car payment, the lights, cable, credit cards, whatever it may be. Say $2,000 is all you need to pay and take care of all your responsibilities. Now, 73% of the people that got the stimulus checks made a very bad choice. If you need $2,000 a month while you were working before all the BS, well, that's not going to change. Now, your light bill might go up a little bit because you're home all the time, but not significantly enough to worry about. But these people were getting $3,000-$4,000 a month, and they only need $2,000 to take care of their responsibilities as if they were working. Now, 73% of them just went out there and blew the money. Like it's an endless ATM machine. The smart move would have been like the other 27% of people. They did the reasonable, logical moves, but the 73% did not. Now, if I got any of them stimulus checks, which I never received any of them, I didn't need it. I was retired at that time. I already done the work. I already made the moves. I made all the smart moves prior to that, years and decades before that. So I wouldn't have to worry about it. I was already able to sit home and pay all the bills, go out to eat and whatever I wanted to do, which with all that chaos and BS going on, I did that. I went out to eat in restaurants. And it don't matter what restaurant or what store I went to, I never got refused to go in without a mask. If I did, I wouldn't gone in. They respect my rights. I respect their rights of requiring to have a mask on if you go into their establishment. That's the way Americans should be. Your rights don't stop where my rights, your rights don't over trump my rights. My rights don't stop where yours starts. We all have rights. But the point I'm trying to get at is 73% of people that got stimulus checks blew their money. They didn't make the smart moves whatsoever. If you need $2,000 and you were getting, say, $4,000, of course, your lights, like I said, will go up, but not enough to even worry about. Say you need $2,000, you're getting $4,000. Well, you take worst scenario, say $1,000 extra, say $3,000 a month, because you're going to be probably eating home more and lights are going to go up and stuff. Take that extra $1,000, put it to the side, or invest it in something. All through the pandemic. And then when it's all over, you got that big nest egg sitting there. But so many, 73%, lived on the high waters and like there's no tomorrow, and they just lived it up. In life, you need to make smart moves. %73% of the people that got stimulus checks did not do that. And it came back and haunted them and bit them in the backside. Some of them, after all the BS was gone and restrictions got lifted, well, some of them didn't even have a job because the company downsized or just went out of business. They didn't have no money coming in. But if they took that extra $1,000 and put it to the side a month, say it was 2 years, 20, 21, 22, so 3 years, say it's 2 years by the time you start getting the checks. So say 2 years, that's what? $24,000 $24,000 you can saved or invested. And if you need $2,000 to pay your bills, well, you take the $24,000, paying $2,000 a month. That's what, 12 months? You got another year of nest egg to sit there with the money that you saved until you find another job. But 73% of people just took the money and ran, blew it on all kinds of stuff. While the other percent, when it was all over, they just went back to life as normal. Didn't miss a beat. They paid the bare minimum that they needed just to get by and saved every penny they could. And they had that big nest egg when it was all over. You got to see opportunities when they are basically slapping you in the face. You get from one job and move to another job and get paid $2 more an hour, say. Well, you don't increase your finance burden by $2 an hour. You keep it the same. Take the $2 extra and save it. Keep living as you were. And then over a period of time, you get a job that pays maybe $5 more an hour. You still living as that very first job. And you just keep saving and saving and saving. That impulse buying will come back and bite you. Because nobody can tell the future. You may or may not have a job. I've known some companies that some people lost their 401k because the company just went bellied up. There was lawsuits and everything else, but you never know. So why take the chance? Because, like, since I'm retired, I set myself on a budget. I don't need much. There's not a lot of things I need in my life. I mean, I got basically a brand new car. It's only 4 years old. It's paid for when it drove off the lot. I brought what I needed. I thought about what I needed. I wanted something that I can drive a long distance and be comfortable. There's nothing more aggravating is getting in the car and drive for 5, 6, or 8 hours, and it's just uncomfortable. You have to get out every 3 hours and stretch your legs and everything else. That's not enjoyable. So I wanted a car that I can drive a long distance. I want something good on gas. I want something to go off-road if I wanted to. So I found something that was reliable in all three categories. And I wanted something that's got some good power. So it has it all. I've driven from coast to coast. I drove 8, 9 hours a day. And I got out of the car at the end of the day, 9, 10 o'clock at night, as if I only drove an hour and a half. I was not tired or anything. And when I got there, I got off road, riding up on the hills, the rocky hills and stuff. Drove on the beach, laid the seats down, have big cargo space, great on gas mileage. Push all the bells and whistles on that thing, got 45 miles to the gallon. I took a lot of responsibility off myself. It's like the place I live in. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a big garden tub, but I'm renting. because I don't want to own homes anymore. I've owned a handful of homes myself in my lifetime. It's great to own a home. It's the maintenance that I knew that would come along with it. I didn't want no more. And a lot of people say, well, all the money you're paying, you're putting in somebody else's pocket. Fine. Well, when something happens to the house, it's going to come out of their pocket and fix it. I don't have to worry about it. All I got to do is say, hey, I got a faucet in the kitchen that's leaking. I need it fixed. Thank you. Click. So less I have to worry about. Now I got me an RV. I have to do all that myself, but that keeps me busy. It's got a little tweak stuff I got to here. I tore out the floor and tore out the wall and do a little bit of plumbing, change the faucet and stuff. And now I'm tore the heater apart and stuff, but it keeps me busy. But I have to make the smart moves so I can have less responsibilities and have more freedom of doing whatever I want. You got to make the smart moves. And then people about the checks, 73% of them just went out and blew the checks because they knew that there's going to be another check for the next 6 months or whatever. They didn't look towards the future. They didn't plan ahead. And it came back and they struggled to get back on their feet. But if you were locked in your house and you couldn't really go out or anything for, say, 2 years, but knowing how much you're going to make and knowing, say, well, if this is only going to last 2 years, I know at the end, I'm going to have, basically almost $25,000 in the bank that I didn't have when this all started. That's a lot of money. You've got to make those smart moves. You got to think about every move you make before you make it. Be sure the repercussions are not going to come back and get you. And it's not going to hurt somebody else because of what you're doing. If you got a 9-to-5 job, and then say you go out there and do the hustle of doing DoorDash or Instacart or Uber, but you can pay your bills on just your W-2 job, then take all the money that you make of doing the side hustle, go to a bank, open up a savings, and just dump it in there. Have the app set up so you can transfer money in there or let it just automatically transfer. And just let that money just keep building up and building up. Just in case something in the future that didn't quite go the way you need it to, even though you made all the smart moves, the world is so unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen the next day. Be prepared. Make the smart moves. Don't get left high and dry just because you forgot to save money or move to another town, got a better job, whatever it may be. Make the smart moves. Just think about every move and analyze it and say, well, if I do this, what can happen? But what can I benefit from it if it actually goes the way I want it to? Which one actually outweighs the other? Is the risk of the possibilities to escalate and make your life better outweighs the downfall of it? Do you have a way to recoup? But if you have that savings, making the right moves, then you got enough cushion there to take that risk, because you never know if you're going to make it or not. But you'll never make it if you never try. Just because you got a certification, say, in a certain field, plumbing or electrical, heating and air, anything, house cleaning, nursing, whatever it may be, you went and done all your requirements and got your certifications. If it's not paying your bills like it should be, or you need it to be, you're always trying to catch up, and you're doing side hustle too, and you still can't catch up, step back and see if there's a smarter move that you can make that will benefit you financially to get you ahead, instead of just in the hamster wheel. You're just sitting there spinning, going nowhere. You always start here and you always end up back where you're at. Beginning of the month is great, but at the end of the month, you got a few more bills. Like, man, I got to squeeze this money to get this bill and get this bill, and maybe I can put off this bill the next month, and you put it off, and then you came up short this month, and if you're going to take one of these and put it on the next month, you're going to come short on that month, and you just put another burden on yourself again. Make yourself come up short again. You got to make the smart moves to advance yourself in a better place. Because if not, your whole world will look like this behind me. It'll all come tumbling down. So go out there and find ways to make some smart moves that will get you where you desire to be. Because if you don't do it, nobody else will. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.